times limit. Other people will be seeing the record in the future. Okay, so this lecture we are going to especially talk about Oracle Oracle NoSQL database using the Spring framework, using Spring data. I mean, what's trying to do is, of course, Spring is very powerful framework, which is using the creating the application, uh, whatever the web application. The other there is a very important other application is very powerful. Then also there is a Spring Boot is how to project very productive. So Spring Boot provide another very rich and flexible tools, so it is very useful. So in this case, we are also considering with how we can interact with Spring framework, work with NoSQL. Unfortunately, whatever you choosing the Spring framework, when you create this, each plugin, there is no any kind of let me show you. No any kind of option to directly include the Spring NoSQL, Oracle NoSQL. For example, I type it Oracle. There is nothing, but I have a NoSQL, but there is a this is but Mango should be also existed. Mango should be no. Yes, MongoDB. Yeah, Mango. Yeah, there is has MongoDB existed, but unfortunately there is no SQL. Just there is no Oracle, no SQL. So either one doesn't matter. We just need to just very basic things. We can include it. For example, we just need to if, for example, there is a lot of option when you create it, you needed to do. For example, maybe you will be integrated with Hibernate, so you can choose them, or maybe you will be create the web content also using Spring Boot. This is also another choice, but either one they don't have a NoSQL. But fortunately, there is a GitHub provide some support for NoSQL Spring SDK, so you can use them plugin in the my plugin they provided. So it's which is good, right? So basically, we can rely on this the four document. One is Oracle provided, another is of course there is a several link I give them, so you can choose to create them. And then when you create the project, we have a two choice. One is of course the Spring initializer website. There is of course you have a project. There is either we can choose the Blender project or a Maven based. Use mostly I will use Maven, so I don't want to. I direct by default is Maven project. Then this is a jar. You can choose Word also as well, but was for web application by default. But jar also can do with web application. So you just choose, the package, no problem. Then there is a dependency. There is a lot of things. For example, this is for provide some helpful some tools, Spring Boot tools. You can choose that. For example, web service, REST type of Waddin. You know what's Waddin? One of the framework without using GSP JavaScript, but they provide a similar powerful UI. So that's very good. Then also authentication for security. There is a Spring security or other things for SQL, GDBC, whatever. as well as most more database. For example, NoSQL here is Spring Data Reduce, whatever Spring Data Mango, but unfortunately there is no Oracle database plugin included yet. Doesn't matter, it's not big deal. So there's message framework, IO, whatever. What I can tell you that testing Cloud Bootstrap. I didn't use. What else? Spring Cloud Gateway. Okay. You also can use Hibernate. Okay. Where is Hibernate? You can type it. GPA. You can say GPA or Hibernate. It's the same as GPA. They has GPA. Okay, so you can choose them, but you also can without choosing those. That's fine. Then you can generate it. Just type it. Then they will be download for you. After then you can download. Then you will be open up with Spring-based framework because you already create the project, open project with Spring, so it should be no problem. Or you can now new project, then you will be Maven. So you can Maven project, you can choose them, no problem. So either one. So this is one approach. And second approach is you can create new project, and then there has a Spring, so Spring project. So you can start from them. Again, it's very similar, right? So you can choose the web servers, GPA, or you can choose the Hibernate. You can say when I did Hibernate, the GPA is similar because Hibernate already become the part of the standard, so it should be no problem. And then what else? For example, Spring Boot, right? Spring Boot tools. Those things you can choose them. Then you can directly create it after that. Now, yeah. So which is good. You easily to create them as well. They automatically provide the things, but there is, so far we are interested in how we can connect with Oracle NoSQL, right? So we can check it. This the GitHub. There's give a very useful guideline. What is does things that they give them a dependency in the pub file. You will get this dependency the package. So when you can copy it this one, then they will be automatically download for you. So so it's very interesting. So for example, here's at first I create this web-based Spring framework. They include the unit test, web test, and what else? Then yeah, Spring Boot. I just want to enable it because I will be use it here for a simplicity of the development project, as well as I will be added one more things, like I added dependency, then they will automatically create for you. So what will be happen is the library will be come up with for you. For example, here's you will be find yeah, NoSQL Oracle NoSQL driver. So which is good. Now we can start to doing. So I follow this example in order to demonstrate this one. So first of all, I create this for configuration. What's the configuration is actually where is coming from the where is the database coming from and how they will be accessed. In order to understand this one, that's the good things you need to check at this check the where it is check this NoSQL document. Here's the one that Oracle NoSQL database SDK Spring. There's one things they explain to you, of course, very specific. Then you will be used those things. There's a yeah. So what does here's what's the NoSQL database configuration actually is the connect with by the half of the framework, by the half of library, they go through the HTTP proxy. So they will be connected with the key store, which is NoSQL. So that's the reason we have to first things that you need to create this using the half configuration file, and then here's they just using the this is proxy, and then this is access this provider, and then nothing for the that's one is already been if there is authenticated. That's a simple step. What you need is we just create this one. This is for bin, so it's kind of Spring. You have to use two things. One is enable the NoSQL repository, and then this is a kind of when you're starting this Spring framework, they will be automatically generate this instance for you. Then we have a so it means we expected something NoSQL already running. Then as well as we also need to enable the NoSQL, which is the port number 80, not 8080. So we need to change them as well. With this object. Then next thing is that, of course, there is a several options they club. If there is a using the cloud configuration, you just follow this provider. You have to change this provider. And if you're using this the provider, then if you cloud, you use this one. But if you're using cloud simulator, you use this one. But on premise, you can use this one. Okay, this is for unsecure provider. So that one is we used it now, store access token provider, right? So this one, as well as you also have a secure provider. So you have to provide password security, user and password for on-premise Oracle NoSQL database. So either one, okay, fine. So you have to do it. Now, third thing is we needed to create object. There is a create the custom object. Then we have to annotate the ID should be generated. So it is a custom ID, which is of course ID, which is very important for using the K. Then when you debug it, this is important, so we can write the toString from the object. Next thing is how we can run this application for the testing purpose. So that's a Spring application boot. So we have to this command line runner, which is coming from the Spring boot. So that's the reason there is a Spring boot. We used it. Then we need to auto-wire, so it means this has been, been injected. So that's the reason the data is private, and then they will be use it. So what does here is, they start this application. What is the starting is actually they try to create this object, two objects. then they will be save it, then try to output it. So that's the things we try to doing. Okay. So so that's the customers I created. So as you're saying, this is similar things, right? Then NoSQL configuration. So yeah, this has been enabled the NoSQL repository. This is a unsecured for on-pro database, right? Then we needed also, of course, we needed to custom NoSQL repository we will be using. So what does, okay, here's a configuration context they trying to running. This is configured as configured as NoSQL database with the running the proxy through this proxy. So that's it. Now what you do is we needed to enable it. We needed to update it with the Maven, right? So when you create it, they will be run it. So now we needed to run this database already with added by or either one. If you already know which one's function, then you need to run as a Spring Boot app, or you can or you already have an option, then you can type it with this option. This is both are same because this one is kind of plugin we already added. Okay, so here it is. Now what does here is now they try to create this name Hans, and both are Hans and John. Okay, so what does the third one I'm trying to say? For example, there is a customer. I show tables. Customer select from us. So here's a new things, right? And then maybe I also, in order to make this more real, I'm trying to change second with my data. I'm trying to run it again with this way, which is exactly same. Connect. So they created, right? They created to find this. So the two things, they created. Okay. So now, trying to run it now. Exactly same. So actually this is work. The application is running hard with the Spring framework. The injection Spring Boot function, we try to run it. Then we also use the repository, the generate the key, generate the ID. You can see that this IDs look like it's each time is not the same, right? It is previous one, now it is another one. So it is working, right? So it is working. It's very good. We didn't write too much. We just use this provider, which is coming from the GitHub example. So this is very good. We already been tested. This is working. So it should be very helpful to running working with Spring framework. So it shouldn't be a problem, right? So I hope this is a very makes sense for you. Makes sense for you to beginning to write code with NoSQL application. Not only the stop in the examining or experiencing stage. We're just running simple example. Now you can continue to create this more complex web application, it just doesn't stop to you, because you already proved that this is working, everything library, it's working. So yeah, that should be helpful. I hope you have question. Any question?
No questions.